Essentially what I'm doing is starting out by creating a bridge between the upper and lower halves, and I've got some old pizza trays that are just the right thickness of metal I need for it. And once I've got the metal hammered out the way I want, I'm just using temporary screws to work out where all the seam alignments are going to be. The trick with this is I need to make up an outer shell that gives me the look that I'm going for, without creating any internal obstructions for the blade mechanism. As much as possible I want to make all the joins and seams hidden, so I'm going to be using a process of overlapping layers to hide each join from the next. I've worked out by taking some of the square tube aluminium and squashing it down, I can make up a really nice drag and scale sort of effect that should give me a really nice transition between the top and bottom halves of the gauntlet. Once I'm happy that I've got all the alignment where I need it to be, I take out all the temporary screws and then replace them with rivets, and it's these riveted seam points that I mostly want to hide along the side and top edge of it. Before I start attaching all the individual components, I'm just cutting away the excess metal so that it has a better contour of how it sits on the muscle of the arm. And once all the permanent rivets are in place, I can go over the surface and hammer those joint areas down nice and flat, so that when I put the copper cover pieces over these seams, they sit nice and flush to the metal. Here I'm making up a template piece that I'm going to use when it comes to the inside lining. The inside lining is basically the very last piece that will be attached, once I'm happy that everything's in place and all the mechanisms are working properly. I'm going over the entire surface with a wire brush. It just helps to blend the overall consistency back to one type of finish, and it creates a really nice dimpling surface across the metal that'll help me out when it comes to the paint and weathering stage of the build. As a final stage of the cleanup, I'm adding almost like a wood grain element to the surface of the flatter parts of the metal, and to do that I'm just using an old paint scraper that's been sharpened on the edge to hammer in those details. Once I've got the final alignment worked out for the overlapping elements, I can start working out what parts need to be attached first so that each join is hidden by the next piece that's being attached. The copper's a much softer metal and it's a lot easier to manipulate, so once I've got it attached, I can fold those edges over pretty easily to get it to blend in. You can see there now how each scale piece hides the join that was done previously, and the last piece that's being attached to 3 rivets there will eventually be covered up. Will be hidden behind a sculpted up scale type piece as well. Just working out the shaping of the copper pieces that'll cover up the top side seams, and once they're attached that'll completely hide that riveted seam line as well. On the underside of the gauntlet I've done some overlapping type pieces as well. On these ones though I've left the rivets exposed because I think it ties in quite nicely with the look of it. There's been a lot to cover in this video, so I hope you've liked this one. But that's the update for this time guys. Thanks for watching, talk to you next time.